welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a sit-down video for you guys, and it's going to be kind of, I haven't really decided what exactly I'm going to label it as, but it's going to be kind of like an advice, tips video on dating for single moms after you are like ready or whatever to start dating again. Kind of just like some tips and advice and some things that I've learned. And usually when I do sit down videos for you guys, I just kind of sit down and start rambling just because I feel like it's easy for me to get things across to you guys, so I don't really do as much preparation beforehand. I just kind of get the ideas all sorted out in my mind, but I wanted to make sure that I said everything that I wanted to say to you guys. So I did make a list of things and kind of organize my thoughts, so if you guys see me looking down, that's what I'm doing, is making sure that I'm telling you guys everything that I wanted to tell you. So I guess I'm going to start this video with a little bit of backstory. As you guys know, I am no longer with either of my child's fathers, and after the fact of them, I have had pretty much 2 relationships. I've kind of like dated, like gone on like a couple of dates and stuff, but I mean, I've had pretty much 2 relationships. One prior to the one that I'm in now, obviously the one that I'm in now. I'm in a really good, happy, healthy relationship right now, and I have learned a lot from it so far, as well as the one previous to it. So I wanted to kind of do a video that can maybe give you guys some advice as to, like, I don't know, when you're ready to start dating again, and even more so how to keep your relationship once you do start dating and you start dating someone that you really like and you really see, you know, a future with or whatever it is. So yeah, I guess I'll start by saying that sometimes it's easier to date a guy that has a kid. Neither of the people that the relationship that I'm in now, he does not have a kid. Pinky, I'll go ahead and say his name. That's not his actual name, but that's what he goes by. His actual name is Jawan. I call him Jawan or Pinky. The girls call him Pinky, but yeah. So he does not have a kid, but he still is understanding of, like, you know, I can't do this at that time because of my kids, or I've got to do this first or that first, and like just the fact that I don't have as much attention or time really to do like relationship stuff, I guess, as I would if I didn't have kids, which is just the matter of fact, and that's just what it is, and I feel like that's a no-brainer. Yeah, first I want to talk about, though, how to know, well, first, actually, let's talk about standards and what it is that you need to look for in general when you do start looking for someone. You need to look for someone that is understanding, obviously, of your situation, someone that is okay with the fact that you have kids and like acknowledges it and like talks about it, and isn't like, you don't get any kind of like uncomfortable vibe with the fact that you have kids when it comes to like dating you. Someone that treats you as a priority, obviously, you know, all the good, and then obviously all the good things that you look for when you're dating someone in general, whether you're a single mom or not. Someone that's going to be faithful to you, someone that's genuinely a good person, someone that has goals, ambitions, stuff like that, someone that's personality that you click with, stuff like that. So obviously stuff like that, but I think when it comes to finding someone when you're a mom, you need to think obviously about the aspect of your kids plus them or whatever as well. So yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is that you need to look for someone that is already a good person to date, whether you have kids or not. But then when you do have kids, you need to think about somebody that's going to be good for the things that happen in your life, someone that's going to be patient and be able to deal with and be okay with and accept the things that are thrown at you at your life, or thrown at you in your life, or things that you can and cannot do that you would be able to do in, I guess, a regular relationship if you didn't have kids, and someone that's okay with that. So that's really important to look for first. So how to know that you're ready. Some of the mistakes that I made when I first started dating after you know, after Martavius and Patrick, was I wasn't really actually ready for a relationship. So I would just kind of like go on dates with people and stuff, and then their feelings would get involved, and I was not ready for a relationship. So you need to make sure that you are actually ready for a relationship, obviously. And I think that the way to know that you're ready is, for one, you need to want a relationship. For two, I think this is a big one, you need to make sure that you are completely over anyone prior to, especially your baby dads. So You really need to be in a place where, especially your children's fathers, I feel like, but I mean anyone else prior, isn't playing into your relationship. And I think that that's easier when it's just someone that you used to date, to kind of get past that and not have them like play into your relationship. But when it's your child's father, you really, really need to make sure that you're in a place where they're not affecting your relationship, because a guy that isn't, or girl, whatever it is that's your preference, anyone that isn't like your child's father or whatever, you don't have to continue to deal with them. Your relationship's over and that's that. You don't ever have to really talk to them again. But your child's father, you have to deal with them, and you have to deal with them on a regular, like pretty often base. So you need to make sure that you are completely over that, because otherwise 2-3 months could go by and things could be fine, and then next thing you know, they're starting to play into your relationship again because you did not give yourself the opportunity to be by yourself and figure that out and get over that situation. So I think that that's number one, something very important. Otherwise, you're already not giving your new relationship a good enough chance, and it's not going to thrive and it's not going to work out. 2, you need to make sure that you have the time to put into a relationship. With a combination of kids, whatever it is that you have going on, school, work, blah, blah, you need to make sure that you even really have the time to put into a relationship, to put into, energy to put into another person. Otherwise, why be in a relationship? Just talk to someone or text someone or flirt with someone, whatever. But I mean, when we're talking about relationships, and especially mothers that are now single mothers that have had failed relationships, you need to make sure that, so that you're not in relationship after relationship after relationship after relationship. Once you find someone that you really like, you need to make sure that you are able to have the time and energy that it takes to put into a relationship to make it work. And I think that that's important as well. 3, that you have your priorities together, and that you can handle the added stress, energy of a relationship. Obviously, I'm in a healthy, happy relationship, but sometimes it's stressful, sometimes things happen, and I had to make sure that I'm in a place where I can handle that and all my other priorities and stuff get taken care of. And then 4, I kind of already said this, but just make sure that you have the energy, because especially when your kids are growing up, you already are spending a lot of energy into building a relationship and a bond with them. I have 2 kids, so I'm working constantly on building and working on and making sure that I give energy into the relationship with both of them. I have obviously relationships with my friends, with my family that I put energy and time into. So I had to make sure that I was in a place where I was ready to put energy and time and effort into another person. And I think that that's important as well. Otherwise, no matter how good the relationship is or whatever, or how good the person is, if you can't put the energy into it that it needs, then it's not going to work out. So yeah, that's, I feel like, the 4, however many I said, things that I think are important to think about, things that I have learned that I have or haven't done that are important to make sure that you have all squared away before you even start looking into being in a serious relationship with someone again. And then the second thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about was how to keep your relationship. The 2 relationships that I have been in, one was not so great, obviously didn't keep it. This one's really great, it's going really well. I think that I've learned a lot on like things that I've mentally told myself that I needed to do and like given effort into to make sure that I'm continuing to do, because I do want to keep this relationship. The first thing is making alone time for each other. Obviously, as moms, single moms, I have my kids. I mean, literally, I have my kids every single day besides every other weekend, and J. Marie a couple hours on Tuesday and Thursday, and Wednesday nights I don't have Italy, but I mean, I still have J. Marie. So I have my kids a lot of the time. So I have had to make sure that I reach out to my sister or to other people to make sure that I'm cutting away time, whether it be usually it's after the girls go to sleep, to go out and do things and to spend time, or every other weekend or whatever, on off days and stuff, going out to breakfast and, getting, or like, I don't know, just hanging out, spending like undivided attention with each other. You need to make sure that you are making alone time for each other, obviously to get to know each other better, to deepen your bond and stuff together. So I think that that's very important. I think it's also, once they do get introduced to your kids, which I'll get into that, but I think it's important that you do spend time together with your kids, but I think that it's almost equally as important even if we're talking about like a marriage where they have the same kids, I think that in a marriage, even if you guys share your kids, like they're both of you guys' kids, I think it's obviously important and healthy for your marriage for you guys to spend alone time together. And I think that it's the same as a relationship when, you know, you're a single mom, and you're with somebody. I think that that's important too, to make sure that you find time for that person, obviously. So you have to keep that in mind. Whether that be, you know, dates or kind of like I said, just sitting around hanging out. But I mean, I think also for me, when I wrote down here dates, but I think what I meant by like writing that down was to kind of say, me being, you know, a single mom or whatever of two, I spend a lot of time at home doing like routine stuff, like getting them ready for school the next morning, and you know, getting them dinner and bathe and all that type of stuff. I don't really spend as much time outside of the home as someone that doesn't have kids, or someone that doesn't have kids and can just pick up and go and do stuff. So I think it's important to not only spend like, you know, quality time together like in a quieter setting, but also to step out with that person, because they're having to get used to your lifestyle, but I think you also need to try and be a part of their lifestyle as well. When you're in the dating, you know, the dating phase, I don't expect my boyfriend to completely change his lifestyle and become a parent. And he doesn't expect me to completely change my lifestyle and become not a parent that can just do and say, or can just get up and go and do stuff whenever I want to. So we have had to, you know, just come to a common meeting place and figure out, you know, sometimes we have to do this, sometimes we can do this. So yeah, I think it's important to make sure that you are stepping out of the house when you do have time together, going on dates, doing adventurous stuff, and, you know, stuff like that. So another thing, try not to, or mentally check yourself on not letting the stresses or the exhaustion play into your relationship. And what I mean by that is, I think that you guys will feel me when I say that being a single parent, pretty much every day, could be even multiple times a day, there's something that happens that stresses you out, whether that be your kids not cooperating, or your schedule's off, or you guys are late for something, or you have just a bunch of stuff that you have to get done. There's always pretty much going to be something that's stressful, more so than I feel like someone that's not a parent, that happens in your life that you have to figure out. As well as, obviously, we're doing a bunch of stuff every day. I'm going to school, I'm working, I'm taking care of my kids every day, I'm running errands, I'm cleaning, I'm cooking, I'm doing all that stuff every day. So I am just, by the time that it's 8:30 and both my kids are asleep, I am exhausted. Like, I'm really tired a lot of the times, but I have other stuff that I need to do. I need to clean up the house, I need to do all those other things, as well as I want to spend time with my boyfriend. So I try to mentally not let the stresses of the day that I've dealt with, or the tiredness that I may feel that day play into my time that I do get to spend with him. So I think that that's important to keep in mind as well. I feel like that's with any relationship. You don't just dump all your crap on someone. I think that it's okay to like talk to them like, oh, this and that happened today, blah, 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 and like just talk to them about it, but don't like dump all of your stress or exhaustion on them. Get a diary or a journal or something, or talk to a girlfriend about it before you like let that affect you guys' alone time together, when already alone time together is probably so limited. And let's see, the other thing that I wrote down is, I'm going to say the note that I said, but I want to be able to explain it. I wrote down, don't overwhelm them with your kids. And I feel like, I don't know, for some reason I feel like that's like kind of a weird thing to say, but I think that that's like really kind of important. People that don't have kids, obviously, they may have dated someone, whether they've dated someone that has kids before or haven't. People that don't have kids, they're not used to all of the things that happen every single day, all of the things that you have to do, and all of the like energy and loud noise and like running around and ripping and running and stuff that happens every single day, that when you have kids that most of us as parents have literally been able to tune out. Like, my kids could be loud, doing whatever in the living room, and it could be something that, like, literally someone that's sitting there after like 30 minutes, like, they're just like way overly stimulated, but I'm in the kitchen on my phone cooking dinner and I don't even hear what's going on in there anymore. I think that, well, for one, let me just say, I don't think that there's a specific rule per se. I think that you need, obviously, once you start dating someone, to be like, have some sort of like caution about when you decide to introduce them to your kids. But I think that obviously what I'm talking about is once you've decided that you're in a relationship, in a committed relationship with someone, at that point I feel like obviously they have or need to meet your children. After you reach that point, I think that don't expect someone that doesn't have kids and after you meet them to immediately be ready to go on kid outings and spend the 8 hours that you have to spend in the house every day with the kids being crazy and like go on like tons of kid outings and do all types of stuff like that, just because I feel like that's almost like, I don't know, I feel like that's almost overwhelming for like a parent to, like, it would be overwhelming for me after being a single mom for so long to spend like 2 weeks completely away from my kids. I would just like be super, like, it would just be completely different for me. So if you think of it kind of vice versa like that, it's kind of overwhelming already, I feel like, for them. So I'm trying to explain this the best that I can, but just try and make it, I guess, like a gradual integration, I guess, for them into that part of your life. So I don't know. I hope that explains that point. I guess I could give you kind of like an example. When I first started dating Juwan, obviously, you know, he met my kids and he would kind of be around them like when we were like winding down or whatever at the end of the day, or he would hang out with them for like 30 minutes before my sister came over. He would hang out with us or whatever before my sister came over, and like we would go out on a date and stuff like that. And it just kind of slowly, gradually, I kind of like integrated him into more, just because I didn't want to overwhelm him, because as we know, being a parent is stressful and they're not a parent, or he's not a parent. Or even someone that is a parent, a guy that is a parent, like they're used to, that's their kid, they're used to how their kid acts and what their kid does. And they still need to get adjusted and used to your kids and how they act and their personality and what they do. So like, you know, gradually he started hanging out more, and now, you know, sometimes we go on outings and stuff, but like I have said multiple times, I still make time for just us, obviously, and same as I make time for just me and Italy, and I make time for just me and J. Marie. I divvy up my time for everyone so that all of my relationships can thrive and be successful, good relationships. So yeah. And the last thing that I want to talk about is some warning signs that I have learned, honey, for either when you're starting out dating, like looking for someone, or when you're actually in a relationship with someone and you, maybe one of these warning signs happen and you're like in a relationship and you're like, oh my God, like this is not going to work. Warning sign number 1 is someone who's constantly asking, when are you not going to have your kids? I feel like that just kind of shows you that they are not going to be as understanding or patient of the fact that of your life in general, because our kids are literally our lives. Like, that's literally my number one thing, the thing that I'm always doing. My number one priority is parenting and my kids. So if someone's constantly texting me, asking me like, oh, when are you not gonna have your kids? When are you not gonna have your, like, I don't never not have my kids. Like, that's not actually a thing. So like, I feel like when somebody asked me that, I feel like, or when somebody had asked me that, I felt like they just weren't really going to be very accepting of my relationship with, or of my lifestyle in the long run. So that was just kind of a deal breaker for me. 2, someone that is aggravated or passively aggravated. You have to really kind of pay attention to this one. Someone that's like kind of passively aggravated about your schedule or how little time it is that you do have for things. That is something, I guess, to watch out for again, because obviously I feel like they're not going to be very accepting or understanding of your lifestyle if they are that way. 3, this was a good one. If you're like in that texting phase of with someone, or like you know, you've gone on a couple of dates or whatever, and like you have started to get to know this person, starting to think about maybe being in a relationship or a serious committed relationship with this person, and you know, like when you text or talk to them, they don't ever ask about your kids. And I'm not saying that it's like a thing that they constantly have to do because they either do or don't have kids, or for two, even bigger than that, it's not their kids. So like, it's not like they are always going to be thinking about them the way that we would. So, you know, it's not like their first thought when they talk to you would be like, oh, how are your kids doing? But I think that someone that doesn't ever really ask like, oh, hey, how's so-and-so doing? Or, hey, I remember last week so-and-so was sick, how are they feeling? Or a couple days ago they were sick, or, oh, you guys went to the doctor, what happened? Is everything cool? Or whatever. Someone that doesn't ask about that part of your life at all when you guys are talking is not interested in that part of your life. Same as like, you know, if I know that like Juan, for example, he's a musician. So like, it's interesting to me, and I ask him all the time about like different things that he's working on and stuff because I care about that part of his life and I want to know about it. So obviously if someone doesn't ask about that part of your life at all, they don't care about that part of your life, and that being, as a mother, the most important and biggest part of your life in general, that's obviously not going to work if they're not even interested in asking about that part of your life. That's like, you know, that's like me not asking about whatever it is that's important to them. So that's another really big warning sign, and I think that is the last one. If I think of anything else, maybe I'll put it down below. I'm not really sure. I'm going to go ahead and get off here and finish wrapping some gifts before I have to go get Italy. But I love you guys so much. I really hope that this helps somebody. Feel free to leave me a comment or questions, whatever, down below, and I'll answer them for you guys if you want to know more about like my experiences or anything. I'm going to be doing a video with Pinky probably in the next, I don't know, maybe tomorrow we'll film it, and I don't know, I'll get it up in the next few days or something. But yeah, I'm excited for that, and I hope that this helped you guys. And those of you that are in relationships, good luck, and I hope that maybe you learned something. And those of you that are finally ready and starting to look for relationships, good luck to you guys too. And I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.